Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is me 7 years ago when I had time to go to parties. I'm currently the Associate Director at Design Tech High School, and I was also a founding member when we opened just 2 years ago. We have all been sitting, and I really appreciate a good stand, so I'm going to ask you a question. Please stand up, and first of all, think back to when you were in high school, and think about your entire career, and if you're in high school right now, think about today. Please stand up if you've had more than one job. Please keep standing if you've ever worked in more than one industry. Oh. Please keep standing if you've worked in more than 2 industries. Please keep standing if you've worked in more than 3 industries. Okay, sit down. You guys are tired. So I actually started, I have a very squiggly line myself. I was a comparative literature major in college, and then I went back and I completed all the pre-veterinary medicine requirements. And then the .com world started, so I became a web designer. And as other people have said, followed shortly on the heels behind that, there was a big layoff, and I started substitute teaching, which landed me in a master's program for special education. So I've actually held a job now for 12 years, which is great. And as a result of what I was seeing in special education, but also in the general education classroom where I was doing a lot of support work, I was noticing that kids were sitting there passively, not engaged with what was happening in the classroom, instead of owning and taking charge of their own learning. So as many of you know, education needs a makeover. We no longer have those vertical industries where you can hold on to a career for your entire life. Just think about how many of you were standing saying that you had worked in more than 3 industries. The skill set that we need right now is not content area knowledge. It is the ability to move across, up, down, backwards through the monkey bars. Because we don't know 13 years from now, 16 years from now, exactly what jobs will exist. In fact, this University of Oxford study estimated that 47% of jobs, especially white-collar jobs, will be automated, no longer available to us as college-educated workers. So let me go back to that for a second. So what does that mean for our kids? It means that they need 3 major levers while they're being brought up in this world that is completely changing super rapid. Number 1, you can't game the system. You cannot do what high schools traditionally do, which is allow students to get a 0 on an assignment and move on. Can you imagine if your boss said, you have 10 things to do, and you said, okay, I'm gonna do 7 of them? That's not reality. So what Design Tech has done is engage students in a competency-based system. Every single student must complete every single assignment to 75% proficiency. Why would you do anything less? And it's not an exam. We're not looking at people and saying, you need to take this exam and then forget about what you learned. Instead, we want these students to do performance tasks. We want them to demonstrate their learning in a way that is authentic to them and applicable to their learning style, their interests, and their passion. We also use a lot of design thinking in our curriculum. And actually, David Clifford is a great partner and friend to Design Tech. We know that students cannot just have content knowledge, they must have entrepreneurship in order to succeed in this world. And it's those tenets of design thinking that help them engage and solve real-world problems. So our big question as we move forward is, how do we give students control over time? Think about your own existence. You have so much control over your time, unless you're a parent, and then I'm sorry. You have control over how you schedule your day-to-day life. So how do we give students that same self-direction, that same control over time to personalize their learning experience? We are constantly working on a vision, and ideally in a year, students will be able to build their own schedules. In the same way that we set reminders and we calendar out our experiences, we want our students to do the following. We want them to know that they need to work on English, that they work best in a small group, that it will take them about 40 minutes to finish whatever it is they're working on, and then build out a 2-week schedule. Now, what you're going to notice in here is that we have things that are not curriculum-based. They are passion project-based. We want our students to be able to reach into the community and schedule time with mentors to solve a problem that is meaningful for them. To reach out, get help solving a coding problem, complete their physical activity, and help write a business plan. So where are we now? Because we're actively working on this. We have a hack, and our hack is this complicated piece of paper called a lab coat. So what Design Tech has done in reality is that twice a week, students meet with their advisor and they are able to practice making choices about their academic experience. If they need to be referred, if they're falling behind in a subject, if they need more help, if they need enrichment, then they are referred by a teacher to actually visit them in the classroom. But otherwise, there's choice. There is choice for 2 entire school days about what they're going to do and how they're going to spend their time. And just to go into small detail, students can either go to our makerspace called the Design Realization Garage. They can go on physical activity break and get their PE credits. They can go to office hours, or they can do FIT. And by the way, we have so many acronyms, but FIT stands for Focused Independent Time. I also have 3 lovely ladies in the front row here who will be a part of the teen panel, so you can ask them more about their experiences with the lab coat. And then we are always keeping in mind, is this working? So we've focused on, there were some people out here who were saying, well, how do we measure this? How do we know it's actually happening and we're making our goals? We look at executive functioning, academic focus, learning motivation, and personalization. We want to know, are students making wise choices about how to use their time? Are students making progress in the areas of choice? Are students engaged in curiosity projects? Are they doing internships? Are they taking time during the school day to leave campus and do work that is meaningful to them? And then are teachers able to reteach material and push kids towards deeper learning? So what are our needs? This level of personalization takes a lot of knowledge power. So while we absolutely need mentors, teachers, and programmers, our biggest need is to have mentors come in and help that student write their business plan, help that student develop a marketing plan. We need you to be a part of Design Tech.